Willie Miller became a shining beacon for Aberdeen in a glittering career spanning 20 years at Pittodrie. During his time, he lifted more trophies than any other Don skipper and played with some truly great players. This is his tribute to the silver-laden years. Willie's squad spans 2 decades, and in the next hour he'll explain the reasons for his selections. All the big names you'd expect are in his squad, but there are 1 or 2 interesting omissions. Let's run through the players he's picked. Alec McLeish, Mark McGee, Joe Harper, Steve Archibald, Bobby Clark, Drew Jarvie, Stuart Kennedy, Jim Layton, Gordon Strachan, Doug Rugby, Neil Simpson, Charlie Nicholas, Jim Bett, Theo Snelders, Peter Weir, John McMaster, Stuart McKimmie, John Hewitt, Hans Hillhouse, Zoltan Varga, and Martin Buchan. And of course, no team of Aberdeen greats from the past 20 years would be complete without the man himself. Like the fans say, there's only one Willie Miller. When you've been such a long time with one club, reducing the squad to just 20 players is a tough task. It proved too difficult for Willie. The sharp-eyed will have noticed there were more than 20 players featured in that first lineup. I spent a long time with Willie at Pittodrie and even on the golf course, narrowing things down. By the end, I want him to name his team, the best 11 Dons of his time. Of course, there's not much doubt about the choice for referee.
Oh, I would say Willie Miller. I mean, he refereed the games as well as everything else.
Yes, the fans always like to joke about Willie's talents as a referee. But it's players I wanted to discuss with Willie. As usual, though, he had a few words of encouragement first.
Right, Jock, let me show you around Pittodrie, and if you'd have stuck in when you were a kid and learnt this game, you might have made something out of your life. Let's go.
Good.
I've had the pleasure of bringing many trophies into this room, probably the best being the European Cup Winners' Cup. There's little pleasure in this room, I can tell you. I know how you feel, Stevie, but all the hard work in here pays dividends on the field. On your bike, Stuart. Pump that iron, Theo. This is Teddy Scott's kit room, better known to the players as Teddy's Aladdin's Cave, because he keeps all the new gear here. And this is a place to be avoided, the physio's room. I don't like talking about it, so let's get on with the action.
Irvin getting up well.
So my first recollections of Hans as a player was coming out of the anaesthetic after a knee operation. TV in the corner of the room, watching Aberdeen Dunfermline. And this guy, Hans Hillhouse, won his first games for Aberdeen, absolutely destroying Dunfermline.
A dream start for the young man from Holland, and that will endear him to the Aberdeen fans instantly. Being by his own player, there's Hillhouse getting up well. Referee sending it wide. Nicholas trying, goes the right big time, but it's back with David Robertson. Up goes Irvin. Hillhouse is there again! It's unbelievable! Hans Hillhouse makes it 2-0. 16 minutes gone. What a debut for the Dutchman. Corner kick caused all the trouble. Westwater here impeded by Ross Jack. A very intelligent header then coming here from Alec McLeish. Sending it wide. Nicholas trying to turn. Was picked up here by David Robertson. Just look at the quality of this cross. Was won again by Brian Irvin. There's Hillhouse. And what a power in that header.
Close. Hillhouse scores! The Dutchman, with his first real touch of the ball, scores an exquisite goal. It really was. Now that's three very fine goals. We've seen him scoring in Scottish football. Look at this. Finishing with great aplomb.
With the free kick made by Sanderson. And they're up to Connor. Running by Robertson. Again Aberdeen with plenty of men forward. The header, and it's a goal for Aberdeen. Hans Hillhouse, a magnificent header. Well, a fine move forward by Aberdeen.
Ball. He's got an eye for a goal. He clips the ball away. It looks as though he's doing it with ease. And that makes him a great striker.
Robertson, pulled back with tremendous pace. Getting in the cross. 17 minutes gone. The header from Hillhouse right into the back of the net.
I think the reason I'm going for Nicholas is that he's the type of player that's got something a wee bit different from the rest. But he's a charismatic figure. You've got to look at it from the point of view of the fans. The fans love seeing that type of player. And he's effective. Charlie in the dressing room, fantastic. Sometimes you go into the dressing room and you don't have characters in the dressing room. The dressing room's flat. It's an important part to have the dressing room bubbling.
Hillhouse has gone wide. There's Nicholas with a goal. Oh, brilliantly taken. Broad smile, and no wonder. And that came all the way down from the big man from Spurs, the Celtic defence. Look at that big gap there. On it went, and Charlie on the volley, glorious. And he used to do that in green and white hoops too.
Charlie always had to be marked really tight, and he got a lot of rough treatment from many defenders. You have to mark players like him closely. Give him space, and just look what happens.
Great player, on and off the park.
Another character, Joe Harper. The club's leading goal scorer, I think, of all time. You hardly leave him out, could you?
You can't. I mean, you can't really. Whenever you speak about Aberdeen, Joe Harper's name's got to come up there, and really the amount of goals he scored for Aberdeen speaks for itself.
A golden chance for Aberdeen to go 1-0 ahead. And this could be Harper's 30th goal for the Dons this season. The ball just slightly off the spot. Harper scores. Aberdeen 1-0 ahead against Rangers.
This is Martin breaking through Jim McLean. McLean hitting it wide in for Ali Scott. It won't get that far. Picked up by Sullivan with Kennedy coming up in support. Scott going back in. Sullivan retains possession. Kennedy coming up on the outside. Sullivan floating it in field. 1, 2, 3 red shirts there. Neil Law can't reach it. Chance for Harper and a goal. Kennedy racing away to this end. Great run by Kennedy. Harper. Second chance. Goal. Beautiful goal. Over to Scanlon. Scanlon turns it across. Headed in by Harper, and it's a goal. Harper's hat-trick. Scanlon's beautiful cross. Morton claiming the ball was over the line. 9 minutes to play and it's all over. Kennedy made the break.
Itself, but Joe just wasn't a goal scorer. He had 2 really good feet. He was a very accurate passer of the ball as well. Joe could play in midfield and create from midfield. But when he really came to light was inside the penalty box.
Jarvie, back header. This is Harper. Harper across towards Fleming. Jarvie, great save by McCloy. Brilliant save by McCloy. Harper across superbly. Fleming heading down. Jarvie aiming for that post. McCloy clawing his way across goal, tipping it away. But back from Aberdeen. This is Harper inside the box. Chance for Harper out in front. Jarvie scores! 15 minutes played in the second half. Aberdeen go into the lead for the second time. Jarvie. McMaster. McCloy. Goal! Two goals in 2 minutes. And Joe Harper's...
Now, you've named Drew Jarvie among your list of strikers. Why?
Well, really Drew's in there, although he's in the striker section, really he could be a midfield player. In fact, he played most of his games in the midfield position, and he scored a lot of goals from midfield. And really Drew's in there because of his goal scoring ability. In fact, he's one of the top goal scorers with the club, and that's saying something with him coming from midfield to score goals. But he was a winner. He was a determined player. Nothing was a lost cause to Drew. The story that I always like recalling was when we played Liverpool in the European Cup, and we got beat 1-0 at Pittodrie. We're down at Anfield, and half-time we're in the dressing room, we're 2-0 down. We've got a few injury problems and, you know, a skeleton team out in the park, and things aren't going too well, and all our heads are down, and Drew comes in, never optimist, thinks that we could still do it, and comes away with the famous quote, "Come on lads, 3 quick goals and we're back in this game." But that kind of sums him up. You know, he loved playing the game.
Now, another man that came to the club, who's on your list, was Steve Archibald. He came from Clyde as a midfield player there and became a great striker. What were his qualities?
His main attributes, he never scored spectacular goals. There's always goals where he was sniffing them. You know, rebounds off the goalkeeper, pass backs from defenders. It's always that type of goals. But in this game, every goal counts, and Stevie got his fair share of them. And I think he's in my list on merit as a good all-round player, but as the poaching type of striker.
Strachan. Well, that's a brilliant ball. McGee, he scored! Mark McGee has put Aberdeen.
Particularly in training. And it took him a long while to get established in the first team. But when he did get established and when he did start playing, what a marvellous player he was for Aberdeen through our successful years.
What qualities did he have in particular that got him into this illustrious list?
Well, really, his strength, his overall strength, he was a physical player. He was a great striker to lead the line. You could play with Mark McGee up on his own. You could play with 2 wide players and Mark McGee through the middle, and he would run the line really well, would take care of both central defenders and cause them a lot of problems through his hard running and his work rate. He was also very quick.
Celtic would not mind a replay out of this situation. Bell with a great goal! Off the post! I thought it was in. And then it is, yes! Mark McGee does it! 2-1. And the figure going up into the air, going after the ball. Strachan played it out beautifully. Simpson. McGee goes wide. Good ball inside. Strachan. McGee in the dry area. Needs to touch it inside. And that must be yes. And it's kept by Thompson. I think we'll credit McGee with that goal. Here's Watson on the outside. There's the ball to Watson. In they go for the return. And there's the third goal by McGee.
It's forgotten to a lot of places that in the goal which won the European Cup Winners' Cup in Gothenburg, which was scored by John Hewitt, Mark McGee played a very important role in that, doing what you just said, going into a wide area from a defensive position Aberdeen at the time.
As you say, we get the ball at the back, goes to Peter Weir, and Matt does what he was good at, you know, really going from central areas out wide, good strong run, getting on the ball and delivering the good cross in for John Hewitt to score.
Two strikers left, Willie, and I think you've got to be struggling there, because I can think of people like Eric Black and John Hewitt of the European campaigns. Frank McDougall had a terrific run of goals for the club in a short period. How do you come to that decision?
Well, a very difficult one because of the quality of players that you're talking about, and you know, perhaps surprising that I'm leaving out Black and Hewitt, who scored the two memorable goals in the Cup final.
Let's just recap on the main contenders up front. There's Hans Hielhaus, scorer of some remarkable goals. That sparkling character, Charlie Nicholas. Aberdeen's record goal scorer, Joe Harper. Mighty Mark McGee. And the well-travelled Steve Archibald. Before we move on, let's enjoy a feast of scoring action from the Dons.
Of the 1970 team, which came to Hampden to play the other Glasgow team, Celtic, and to win the cup.
Mackay, and he scores again. Mackay has made it 3-1 in injury time.
Then swinger, Ian Porteous, 1-0 to Aberdeen. So the 90 minutes are up, we're into time added on for stoppages in the second half. Hasn't been a great deal of that. The Strachan, and that ties it up. Well, into injury time.
A really fine atmosphere here at Fir Park, typical cup tie atmosphere. And although the pitch is a little soft on top, reasonably good, there's a great chance for Hewitt, and he scored! John Hewitt. Well, that must go down surely as the quickest Scottish Cup goal I've ever seen anyway. 1-0, and there is Hugh Sprott looking quite dismayed. Edging forward. Two minds what to do. There's Rugby. That's a good-looking ball. Weir. It's in. Straight through Billy Thompson. Huddled in misery, Thompson. 3-2 with 28 minutes of the second half gone. Strachan started it away on the right, shuffling his way in. Strachan. Away goes Cooper. Cooper with a great chance. Cooper must make it 4. He does. Oh. He could hardly believe he got through eventually. Russell. Oof. A gift now. Simpson. What's a 1-2? That's a good ball. McGee likes his position. It could be there. It is the winner. That will win the cup. Eric Black, 1-0. That is the end. Strachan plays it away wide. Alec McLeish is up. Here's Black with a chance. Has it gone in? It has. Eric Black has scored for Aberdeen. 1-0. Leighton making some kind of comment about it. All beautifully flicked by Hewitt. He's having a superb game for Aberdeen today. Weir. Walter Kidd. There's a dummy, there's a goal. 2-0. John Hewitt. A superb goal by Aberdeen. Beautifully, technically executed. And the rippling red and white harvest of support, acknowledging a superb piece of play. And that could be the goal that kills off Hearts. A really tenacious run here by Weir. The beautiful little dummy, and excellently finished. His second goal for that goal, and no wonder, even from that distance away, they realize the journey has been worthwhile. Free kick, yes. And he's been driving them on in the second half. Oh, there's a third one. Billy Stark. 3-0 for Aberdeen, and that is the cup final well and truly finished, I think, as far as Hearts are concerned. And the celebration for Aberdeen, with only 15 minutes remaining, will go on from now until Monday morning, I suspect, as Billy Stark picks up the killer goal. And it was beautifully done by Stark, launching himself and the ball catapulting into the net.
McKinlay again putting his goalkeeper under pressure, but again Nicky Walker responding. Turn by Jess. Getting away from Sanderson. Challenged by Tosh McKinlay. In comes Brian Grant. And a third goal for Aberdeen, Robert Connor. And surely that ties up the points. 61 minutes gone. Well, good play by Jess. He scrapped hard to keep possession. It was Brian Grant to come in to lend some support. Just battling there with Sanderson and Tosh McKinlay. Grant coming in, providing the cross. A not good one for the goalkeeper. And there was Robert Connor to snatch his 5th goal of the season. So Hearts 1, Aberdeen 3. So just under 10 minutes left. By Van der Ark to Jess. Booth is in the middle. Still Jess. Good goalkeeping again by Nicky Walker. Just battling hard, doing well. Van de Ven to Bet. Forward to Connor. Robert Connor must make it. Number 4, and he does. His own 2nd goal of the game. Well, good play by Ian Jesse. Battled hard to keep possession. The ball played through to Connor. They beat the goalkeeper and had the simplest of tasks. So Hearts 1, Aberdeen 4, with 9 minutes left.
Willie's task of keeping the numbers down was difficult, and as he said himself, some will find it surprising that European Cup hero John Hewitt is missing. Willie even helped him score some great goals.
Hewitt comes in. McDougall goes to the left. John Hewitt will try the shot on. He does, and he scored brilliantly. John Hewitt, the super sub, the man who scored in Gothenburg, puts Aberdeen in the lead in, just about 5 minutes. 1-0. A superbly struck left-foot shot.
Now we've moved away from the hustle and bustle of Pittodrie to the more calm surroundings here at Bankery Golf Club. Like me, Willie's a keen golfer, And I can tell you he's just as competitive out here as he was on the field. We finished in a difficult situation, as you can see. Modesty forbids me from telling who landed in the thick of things. But the search provided a pause from the heat of battle and an opportunity to reflect on the players Willie liked to have around him when he was in a difficult situation.
And here I am in tricky situation number 2. Watch this, Sevy, and eat your heart out.
Yes, and just like on the field, Willie makes good use of the ball. Right, well, your short list of defenders now, really in Doug Rugby country. He's in your list. Why is he a candidate for this team?
Well, Big Doug, probably not the most skillful player, but really he was the type of player that you could go to any ground with and he would be totally fearless. He feared no one, he feared no situation. The Bayern Munich game that we played, it was just another game to Big Doug. Like, totally fearless he was. His warm-ups at Parkhead were legendary. He used to come out the tunnel and head directly over to the jungle and do his warm-up right in front of the jungle. Side steps up and down in front of the jungle. 15,000 people going crazy. The rest of us were all over in the corner doing our wee warm-up. Big Dougie was loving it in front of the Parkhead fans.
Big Doug was also a useful player in the opposition penalty box. Just look at this header from Big Alex Cross.
And in certain circumstances you need the Doug Rugby type of player. The intimidating stadium, the big occasion. You need players like Doug Rugby about the place.
You also need players like the others you've mentioned. You mentioned Stuart Kennedy, Stuart McKimmie, Alec McLeish, and Martin Buchan, who was your predecessor at sweeper. What were their qualities?
Well, Martin was here before I came to Pittodrie, and actually, and Martin leaving, it gave me a chance to establish myself in that position. But Martin had a lot of qualities. He was very quick. He was a very elegant type of player. He was really tidy. Everything Martin did had a certain polish to it. And the team in the early 70s, their back lot, Martin pulled the strings at the back. He talked them through it. They played at a system where they came out very quickly. Played a flat back 4, although Martin tended to be classed as a sweeper. They did tend to play a flat back 4 with Martin going deeper in certain circumstances. But a very elegant player, very quick, read the game well. Just all round a very good player and a very good captain.
You only named one out-and-out centre-half in that shortlist.
Yes, well, I think there is only one, really. My big teammate, Alec McLeish. As far as centre-halves go, I don't think you get any better. Very dominant type of player. Very good in the air. A lot of skill on the ground as well, which perhaps he doesn't get enough credit for. A real winner. He just loved winning. But as far as centre-halves go, you can't look past Big Alec.
And about 12 minutes of the first half gone. That's a good-looking ball again at Jackson. Hard hit there by Simpson. And there's a floating equaliser by Alec McLeish. 1-1, a superb goal.
You only have to look at the players who turned out for his testimonial match to realise how well respected he is. Who's that blonde guy? Even his kids were there. They'll be hoping they don't end up with a nose like their dad's. The only man missing on the night was me. That's something I regret. But I was in hospital having a knee op. There's that blonde guy again. Who does he play for?
What about Big McLeish? Doubled his goals tally for the last 3 seasons tonight.
That's me, Willie Miller now. But no, there'll be questions asked in the dressing room tomorrow. I've not scored in the domestic challenge so far. There was a touch of the old 1982 Scottish Cup final there. I don't know if you saw it, Richard. Do you remember it?
I remember it well.
I hope the chairman doesn't say to me, was that meant to be a cross, as he said the last time. But no, it was nice to go on the score sheet. I was just glad.
First half gone, that's a good-looking ball again at Jackson. Hard hit there by Simpson. And there's a floating equaliser by Alec McLeish.
Yes, it was certainly some cross. I caught up with the big fellow in the treatment room at Pittodrie. He and Miller were one of the best central defensive combinations around. They even played together for their country. It would have been a major upset if Willie hadn't included Alec McLeish in his squad. But Alec was still well pleased to be there.
Well, I'm very honoured, flattered to be picked by one of my closest friends in football. And it's been a great 15 or so years for me here at Pittodrie. We've had a lot of success and I hope that there's more to come.
In the back four he has you playing with Stuart Kennedy, Stuart McKimmie and of course Willie himself. Would you be happy with that defence?
I think I've got to be fairly happy with that. You know, Mr Miller sweeping things up at the back as usual, letting the rest of us all go and get our noses bashed and our eyes cut and just let him go around at the back with a cigar as usual.
Now to the full-backs. Well, you've only named two who are right-backs most of the time in their career at Aberdeen, Kennedy and McKimmie. What made them so good?
I think both of them have got quite a lot of qualities. The main quality is they're both very quick and they go forward well. Both of them like to get down the park, down the flanks, attack and put in crosses. And when that's done, they get back into their defensive positions really quickly. So I always like to make sure that defensively you're really strong in the central defensive areas, but in the full-back areas you're wanting to get your full-backs forward as much as possible into attacking areas. And I feel that both these full-backs are capable of doing that.
Stuart Kennedy was renowned for his attacking ability. His career was ended prematurely, of course, through injury. Some question marks defensively. Would you agree with these?
Frankly, no. I've never had a problem defensively with Stuart Kennedy. In fact, Stuart took great pride in claiming that nobody ever beat him for pace as a fullback, which I wouldn't wholeheartedly agree with that. There was one player that flew by him, a chap called Chaboom, who played for one of the German teams when we played in Europe, and that's the only player that I've ever saw beat Stuart Kennedy for pace. But he was a very quick player, and he took a wee bit of stick maybe for his crossing ability and saying that maybe his crossing wasn't what it should be. And I remember one specific team talk that Alec Ferguson and Archie Knox had, and Alec Ferguson says to Stuart, your crossing is pathetic. And Stuart says, pathetic? I can't believe that. My crossing's good. And Alec Ferguson turned to Archie Knox and says, Archie, what do you think? I think it's bad, but I think it's improved. Stuart Kennedy says,
Oh, you mean it's improved to pathetic?
Kennedy coming up in support. Scott going back in. Sullivan retains possession. Kennedy coming up on the outside. He seems to be okay. Kennedy racing away to this end. Great run by Kennedy. Harper. Second chance. Goal. Beautiful goal. Forward to Scanlon. Scanlon turns it across, headed in by Harper, and it's a goal. Harper's hat-trick, Scanlon, beautiful cross. Morton claiming the ball was over.
And here's a chance to answer Jock's point about Stuart Kennedy's defensive qualities. Just look at these challenges and remember they were made during Alec's testimonial game, long after injury had forced Stuart's early retirement. We blunder there, Jock, and here's another.
Over to Robertson. Lovely turn against Irvine. Robertson with the cross. Oh, it's an own goal. The ball going in off. Stuart McKinney. Hearts have taken the lead. Well, great play by Robertson getting away from Irvine. A great turn against the defender.
It was quite a goal, but is it the best one Stuart McKimmie has scored?
I'm looking at your face, I can see your face now. Right, sorry, right. Right, start again.
Willie Miller has picked you in his squad of 20 great players. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a great compliment for me because I think in the 20 years he's played with some great players. I used to support Aberdeen as a boy and I've seen some great players here, so yeah, as I say, it's a great compliment for me.
And since we insulted Stuart with that own goal effort, let's pay him a compliment with this great reply in the same game.
Stephen Wright. Switching the play to Connor. Goes down by Bennon. Everyone forward at the moment. Stuart McKimmie with the shot. Oh, magnificent goal by Stuart McKimmie. Well, he scored the goal that clinched the championship here back in 1984. This a remarkable goal.
Well, that's certainly one way to make amends. In the back four, he has you playing with Stuart Kennedy, Alec McLeish, and of course Willie himself. Would you be happy with that defence?
Yeah, I think any manager would be happy with that back four. Over the years, I think Willie, Alec and Stuart Kennedy, they've played really well, and they were together in the European campaign when they won the Cup Winners' Cup, so I'd be delighted to play in that back four.
Being involved. Cloud sending over the high ball. McInally challenges on his flank. Here the chance for McKimmie. 1-0 to Scotland. Hampden Park erupts. 32 minutes gone. And Stuart McKimmie, with his third cap, gets his first goal for his country. Great play by the strikers. McInally challenging. Then it was Flank who played wide. And just look at this finish from Stuart McKimmie.
We saw an excellent combination there, Jock. They're worried obviously about Alan McInally's ability in the air.
The winner against Argentina at Hampden. Even the commentator was impressed. But while scoring is important, the real job of defenders is to stop the opposition scoring. Stuart certainly has the qualities for that too. Well, this is one of the most important rooms in the stadium, and it's a place that the fans seldom see. Willie, the boot room, the importance of the right footwear. How do you feel about that? How do the players feel about that?
Well, most of the players at Pittodrie are very professional in their outlook, and obviously the boots are very important. We do actually have a chap called Charlie who looks after all the boots for us, cleans them and just makes sure that they're in the right condition for the game on the Wednesday or the Saturday. But most of the lads here tend to look after their boots, you know, well, and make sure the worst of the dirt's off them when they're finished training. And I think that's only right. It's your tools of your trade, so you've got to look after them.
You've had some good goalkeepers in your time at Pittodrie. 3 long-serving ones, 2 in particular, Bobby Clark, then Jim Leighton, and now Theo Snelders. They're your 3 in your short lead. What made them all so good?
Well, really, it's going to be difficult to choose between the 3 of them because really the goalkeepers that I've played with have all been so professional and so good at what they do. Starting with Bobby Clark, when I first came to the club, Bobby was a senior player here and very professional. His outlook on the game was really first class, worked very hard at the game, in training and on the park. Great organiser, talked all the time. As a young player, it was important for me to come and for somebody like Bobby Clark to be behind me and help me through the early days. And really, I would like to think that I've picked up some of Bobby's organisational skills and adapted them to my own style of play.
McAdam going down the far side as Bobby Clark directs the troops. Over it comes from Provan, advancing, gets his head to it, hooked away by Kennedy, but straight back to Provan. Provan hooks it in this time. Clark, a tremendous save as advancing moved in for the kill. Strachan.
It's the result at the end of the day which counts, and fortunately we got it today.
You must have been particularly impressed with the play of Bobby Clark.
He was magnificent. Magnificent he was. His influence is some magnificent saves. I can't say enough for him. I'm really over the moon about the performance.
Willie's still struggling with his final choice for goalkeeper. It looks like Leighton or Snelders. Stuart McKimmie has played in front of both many times. I asked him which one gave defenders most encouragement.
One goalkeeper gave more encouragement than the other. I think in their own right they're both really good keepers. I think that they've Theo's commanding in his area and that, and he's good reflexes, and I think his all-round game's pretty good. His kicking and that's really good. Whereas Jim, his attitude was great, and he was a good goal saver and that. But I think the only problem Jim had was his kickouts. They tended to land on top of my head all the time, so that was probably his weakness, was just his kicking.
It's difficult to make up my mind about which goalkeeper to choose. Maybe this action will help. Well, that was a really great save, Jim. That could swing it for you. Oh, and look, there's that blonde guy again. Bit short of pace, but I'm told he sings well in the bath.
Willie gained 65 caps, a record for a Scotland defender, bettered only by teammate Alec McLeish. Miller, McLeish, and the man in action here, Jim Leighton, are all featured in the SFA's Hall of Fame.
When Theo came to the club, we wondered how good his English was, and we wondered if he could understand the way the Scots speak, especially the Aberdonians in the team. But The one thing that we wanted to make sure he could understand was stay in your blooming line, Theo. And I think he's learned to know that one.
The big Dutchman has certainly made a big impression on the Scottish game since his arrival from Holland. He's undoubtedly one of Alex Smith's most judicious signings. He usually takes his skipper's advice, but now and again goes off on a frolic of his own, like in this game against Hearts. Well, it certainly provides entertainment for the fans, but it doesn't help the defender's pulse rate. Nevertheless, he's a genuine candidate for Willie's final selection.
Now, what do you think the right composition for a midfield is in your ideal team?
Well, I think first of all, you have to have somebody that's going to get about players defensively, somebody that's going to close players down, somebody that's capable of tackling, and really somebody that's capable of giving you that wee bit of grit in midfield. I don't think there's any better example than Neil Simpson for doing this. Zoltan Varga, he was a genius. He had the genius about him, and he had that something special. He was a very skillful player.
Now, in your European Cup winning cup team, he played beside Neil Cooper in a similar kind of way, with Gordon Strachan and Peter Weir as the wide, creative men. Is that how you see an ideal kind of midfield?
Well, I think at that time that was our best midfield. Looking at it, I would rather we had a wee bit more skill in the midfield areas. Both the Neils did really well, Neil Cooper, Neil Simpson, and defensively we were very secure there. But perhaps we could have been a wee bit more creative.
So Jim Bett comes to mind.
The silky talents of Jim Bett have made him a firm favourite with the fans, so it was little surprise that he should be featured prominently. What did he think about making the squad?
Obviously it's a good honour for me. I've been here 7 years now, and it's been a good 7 years. And to get included in the 20 greatest players is a nice honour.
Now, everyone would have expected you to have Gordon Strachan in this short list, although he didn't play very long with Jim Bett, sadly, for Aberdeen. He wasn't there terribly long before he moved to Manchester United. But how do you rate Strachan?
Well, very highly. When he first came to Aberdeen, it took quite a while to settle in. Bill McNeill brought him from Dundee, and it took a while to settle in, but very skillful player. Liked the ball at his feet. Didn't like the ball into space, but when you won the ball, when Neil Simpson won the ball, or when you were at the back and you were looking for players, if you were going to find Gordon, you made sure it was to his feet, and then you let Gordon do his things. You know, he's close control, he's beating players, and then setting the thing up for the strikers further forward.
Going up into the air, going after the ball. Strachan played it out beautifully. Simpson. McGee goes wide. Good ball inside. Strachan. McGee in the dry area. Needs to touch it inside. And that must be yes. And it's kept by Thompson. I think we'll credit McGee with that goal.
So the 90 minutes are up. We're into time added on for stoppages in the second half. Hasn't been a great deal of that. And Strachan. And that ties it up. Very easy indeed to turn that into his own net. Strachan it was, applying the pressure by his presence in the box. Weir's corner kick. Back to Cooper. And that thundering shot from Cooper puts Aberdeen ahead. 4 minutes on the clock. Neil Cooper doesn't score very many, that's only his third of the season. But the power of the shot was quite incredible. The corner kick did the damage on the left. Peter Weir swinging the ball across. Came off a Thistle defender's head, spinning out the far corner of the box. Cooper's intention was clear from the moment the ball arrived, and McNabb had no chance at all. This is a golden opportunity for Aberdeen. What can they make of it? Strachan walks past the ball. Weir takes it, and takes it perfectly. 27 minutes into the second half, Peter Weir with the most perfectly flighted free kick puts Aberdeen back in front. Well, that's his 9th goal of the season. I don't think he enjoyed many more than that. You won't see a free kick taken better than this. Left entirely to Weir's left foot. McNabb appeared to be in the right position, but the ball in just at the junction of the post and crossbar.
Pensive moments for Willie as he wrestles with his selection problems. But there's one position which shouldn't be in doubt. That's as far as Don's boss, Alex Smith, is concerned.
Well, I think he'd be excused for choosing himself. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that, with all due respect to everybody else, that Willie Miller has been the best player that's played for Aberdeen. And it's just been something else. And unfortunately for us, we didn't get the best from Willie Miller because he took a serious injury in the first game we were in charge over in Rotterdam. In that season, he played with the effects of the injury, but was still a great player for us. And I'm quite sure if we'd have been able to get the services from Willie when he was under his last contract, Aberdeen would have won a league championship in that period.
Whatever the choice, you can be sure there will be arguments. Pittodrie fans are never short of opinions. Who says they lack passion? Well, who would you choose for your team? Surely here's a late contender for the squad. John McMaster. Injury prematurely ended his Pittodrie career, but he featured in some memorable performances for the Dons.
Well, that's a selection I'm really looking forward to hearing from you later on. I know you're still hedging your bets on that a little bit, but let's have a wander outside and have a look at the place where the fans have to take their vantage point. Obviously, they were very good and important to you.
Yeah, I mean, the fans have been great here.
Right, well, the hedging's over. You're on the spot now. You've got to name the team of the last 20 years.
Well, Jock, it's always difficult to make these decisions, but it's something you've got to do. But I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to do it the way I would do it for any other game. So I'm going to go and pin my team up on the board.
Here's Willie's selection. In goal, Jim Leighton, who just edged out Theo Snelders, perhaps the most difficult selection. Stuart McKimmie is selected at left back, and to satisfy Willie's desire for two attacking fullbacks, fleet-footed Stuart Kennedy is the choice for number 2. The redoubtable Alec McLeish, unchallenged for centre-half. Wide on the left, the craft of Peter Weir. Jim Bett is the midfield creator, the commander of the vital central area. At his side, Neil Simpson, the skillful workhorse. The genius of Gordon Strachan will be deployed on the right. And up front, the power and pace of Mark McGee earned him a striking role alongside the clinical finishing prowess of Joe Harper, goal scorer supreme. That leaves just one place at sweeper and self-appointed skipper, the man himself, collecting yet another trophy. 20 years have come and gone, and Willie's taken his final curtain. Not one Aberdeen fan would have excluded him from that select team. Moments like this will never happen again. The adulation of the fans was there for all to see. Will they ever see his like again? Willie Miller, a legend.